All right. So today we are connecting, and it's a very epic episode that we are going to record today. And also understand that how we can implement Gita in our lives. Gita, what is Gita? Gita is one of the episodes of Mahabharata. What is Mahabharata? So let's just focus ourselves, because what we are going to learn today from Gita and in next 18 or 19 days, when as long as we are going to continue, is to understand that how what was given as Gita to Arjun on the battlefield of Mahabharata can be implemented in our personal and professional life. How it teaches leadership, how it teaches spirituality, and how it is a complete book, a complete episode, or a complete wisdom that can, if we imbibe that in our lives, we will be able to reach to the highest of the highest potential. So today what we are going to do is we have to start with the understanding that Mahabharata, when there is like one side is Kaurava and one side is Pandav. Pandav means 5 virtues. One who's righteous. These 5 brothers are like the righteous. There's 100 on the other side, the brothers, the cousins, who did not accept their cousins as their brothers and did not wanted to be part of their happiness. They were not happy about it, that they should be able to live a decent life. Forget about a good life. Even for a decent life, they were not ready to give it out. What led to Mahabharata? That is the biggest question. What led to that fight? So before we start the first chapter of Gita, that how Arjun was in dilemma, that where I should fight or I should not fight. But what led to this whole thing, that it led to such a big episode of massive war between a family, right? So right from the beginning, Pandavas were the meeker, softer, good kids. And Duryodhan and the family was little arrogant, and they were always bullying the Pandavas, always bullying. And all the teachers, the gurus, the people, they were like always like, oh, these 5 brothers are like amazing, they're awesome, they're really nice. And this guy who was bullying, everybody detested him. He's bad, he's this, he's that, right? So there was like lots of bad things is written in Mahabharata, how Duryodhan was used to bully, not allowed them to eat, made fun of them, and always conspiring that how to hurt these 5 brothers, to the extent that they also planned to burn them alive. So all these conspiracies were on. You can call it like maybe like present day terrorist, who always plan to bother somebody, kill somebody. That is how he was when he was growing up. Now the question arises that when he found Karna, right? He found Karna, and he also saw that he is very talented. Except Karna at his own level. When he was there for the Draupadi Swayamvar, both of them were there. But somehow Karna was not given the opportunity And because he was the son of a charioteer, right? So there are certain things that we need to understand, that why this Leela was being played. Do you think Krishna was like a person who would be partial towards Arjun and versus Karn? Why this was happening? Why this was happening? I am 100%, 1000% convinced that Krishna will not do anything without any reason. Obviously, he foresees something. But here, on the ground, Karn was not allowed to take part in the Swayamvar of Draupadi. So the story goes far behind. And somebody, like, you do not treat them with respect. And so one person is not treating them with respect, the other person is treating them with respect. And then he just sided with Duryodhan. So Duryodhan's soft side was shown when he connected with Karn. Maybe there could be various reasons. Maybe he thought, like, I am not as good as Arjun, and probably I have a counter energy, or I can make him my Senapati, I can do this. So probably he saw an opportunity with Karn, and he just went all out to support him. On the side of Karn, although he was also very righteous, but still somebody who treated him equal. So the story, I could have started from there, but as I started, it started from that. No, we have to understand why that whole like sequence of events led to something. So obviously they were jealous, and we all know that let me just go further in the background, that Dhritarashtra was the actually older brother, and he was supposed to be taking the throne. Because he was blind, the younger brother Pandu was given the throne. So always Dhritarashtra felt that it was not fair. And then when Pandu became the emperor or the king, his son automatically were considered to be the rightful heirs of Hastinapur. So the conflict started from then. There was a story even behind that. Gandhari, the wife of Dhritarashtra. The Gandhar, the king of Gandhar, whose daughter was Gandhari, he wanted his daughter to marry Pandu. But somehow, Bhishma Pitama, the grandfather of those people, grandfather of Arjun, he decided that no, he will marry Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra was blind, and whatever was the understanding and how they could not say no, we are not going there. But somehow the marriage was consummated between Dhritarashtra and Gandhari. Gandhari, just because her husband was blind, she decided to go blindfolded as well. And now, what I am getting from Krishna, that was the origin of Mahabharata. That is where the whole story started. That Gandhari chose to go blindfolded. Was it right or wrong? Think through it. Was it right or wrong? And what I am being told, that was the worst thing that she could do. Her husband was blind, but she could have been eyes for him. What was the need for both of them to go blindfolded? There was no need for that. Is it love? Is it devotion? Is it surrender? What exactly it is? Where would you put this at? If my husband cannot walk, shall I also break my leg, or shall I be his leg? Or vice versa. If a wife cannot walk, does the husband should just break his leg as well? No. That is not the right thing to do. You have to become that support. Now imagine if both husband and wife are blindfolded, they would not know what their children are doing. They do not see their expressions. They are not communicating with them with their eyes. So she doesn't know what is growing in their heart and what is coming into their eyes. And then they had this Gandhar's narrations, like her brother Shakuni, who was always there because he was so angry. Pitama getting his sister married to Dhritarashtra and not the actual emperor Pandu. He was constantly like, how my sister gets this throne. She was not blindfolded. She could have read to them. She could have told them good stories. She could have been a better mother. What is right, what is wrong. She could have taught them the righteousness, and she lost that opportunity. She lost that opportunity. Not only she lost that opportunity, she allowed her brother to take her son into different direction. Was it fair? Was she not seeing that the brother is teaching them something that she should not? Right? Now, so there were many red flags in the upbringing of these children. Pandu died very early on. And then the throne was back to Dhritarashtra. But still, the rightful heirs were still considered to be Pandavas. So he was sitting on the throne, he was the elder brother. But still, him or his son were not taken as the rightful heirs of the throne of Hastinapur. So that was always like, it was like the guilt was being instilled inside of them. Pandavas were younger at that time and the father passed away. So, if Dhritarashtra was a righteous king, if he accepted that he was not the chosen king because of the deformity or whatever the issue was, at least let's divide equally and give them their share and take their share. It did happen at some point of time actually that they were given some 5 villages or something to do whatever they want to do. So they were not given the whole Hastinapur after like lots of drama, lots of trying to kill them and pursue them, sending them to the forest, like all kinds of things. But eventually, like there was a time that a space was given to Pandavas too. But now they really made it big. Because they were smart. They made like the whole village out of it. They made a kingdom out of it, a very beautiful kingdom. They created a palace. And now they had to invite Duryodhan. And this time Duryodhan came as a normal person. He accepted the invitation. He came over. And in that palace, they had created something like a checker. So if you put your foot on the black, you are right. If you put on the white, you might drown or something, some weird combination. And they would not tell the rule of that. Duryodhana entered the palace and he could not understand that how it is created, and he fell into the water. And there this is their wife, Draupadi, who was married to all 5 brothers, and that is again another story which we are not going to dwell into. But the wife of Pandavas, Draupadi, she said, Andhe ka beta andha, means this blind, his father is blind, this like father, this son is also blind. Was it a right thing to do at that time? No, it was not a right thing to do. So, he felt very humiliated, extremely humiliated. He came back. He could not forget how she laughed at him. He talked to his uncle, Shakuni. And Shakuni said, let's call these guys for gambling. Drut. Where they would play like something like Ludo, and whosoever wins can ask whatever. In spite of telling multiple times to Yudhishthir that not to accept it, Draupadi said, Krishna said, but Yudhishthir was like, no way. If I'm invited, it is some Kshatriya dharma that he has to follow. Another red flag. No, there is no hard and fast rule. There is some practical aspects to life. You do not humiliate somebody for no reason, even if they are your enemies. You do not provoke them unnecessarily. Right? So now the life lessons, like we do not reach to this Mahabharata in our lives if we take care of our tongue. How we say it. It's the way you say it. Be fair. Do not be excessively greedy like Dhritarashtra. Do not be blindfolded. Do not allow the misbehaviors of your children to grow. Do not force your insecurity on your children. Bad parenting starts with the insecurity of the parents. If say a father always failed in maths class, now he is constantly after his children that he study maths. Oh, they have studied maths, just leave them alone. No, he's again study maths. You fail does not mean that your children will also fail, right? So that is how we project our thoughts and energy in our surroundings. Over attachment. So even if there's something wrong going on and you are not responding to it, you're not even suggesting. When they're mean to others, they're bullying others, they're talking nonsense, you have to make them sit and make them understand not to bully others. And then the self-negative image of themselves, because everybody is disliking them. So he is getting more and more aggressive. Because they are meek, but they are not liking them. These kids who are like the bullies, they're like, okay, we'll beat them up. We'll break their heads. We'll burn them. We'll kill them. What was the responsibility of the parents at that time? Because it did not start when they were like adults. It started when they were children. And if they were taught wrong things, why it was not started, like if it was nipped at the bud, it would not have happened. Now, Yudhishthir reached to play the game, knowingly 100% that the Shakuni Mama is very clever and he will manipulate the game. Okay. Red flag goes there, loses his properties, loses this, loses that. And he keeps playing in order to get these things back. He kept waiting till he gave away all his brothers, everything he had, and then also his wife. He still could not stand up and say, no, I'm not going to bet my wife. Like, who does that? But even if he did it, the brothers could have said, no, stop. We have lost our property. We will build it again. But we are not playing. Done. I'm not playing. No. greed. If I play one more time, that is what a gambler does. If we play one more time till they lose everything. Right? Once in a while, if you're in your limits, okay, for fun and entertainment, you can. But if it becomes obsession, that if I have lost, so always play. Like if you have $100 to waste to have fun, yes, go ahead. But in order to get the money back, you know what is going to happen. So this whole Mahabharata just highlights everything that happens in day-to-day lives of people. Greed, jealousy, and then obviously like rude behavior, rude mouth, bullying or accepting bullying, self-negative talks. All of this is part and parcel of the human life in most of the households. People do not go outside to compete with others. Sometimes they're just competing. Husband, wife, children are competing with their brother. Brothers competing with each other. Haven't you seen that? You all have seen that. For properties, for this, for that, like many things. So Mahabharata is our life story. Most of the people's life story. Did not stop there. Now, Yudhishthir put his wife on bed. And we have all read the story that she was pulled by hair and brought into the court of that king. Bhishma Pitama and Drona, all those biggies, they are like the grandfathers, fathers, gurus, kings, Karna, all of them were sitting. All of them were sitting. But they were bound by a rule. Because Yudhishthir had bet his wife and he has lost it. None of the people stood up when she was being tortured in the court. None of them. Not even one person said anything against. They said all bad things. So many bad things that even now I had one of the client, she could still hear bad things being said. Like all those bad things which was said to Draupadi, she's still carrying this memory from that life. And she was like, I constantly hear this. Bad words. Somebody saying these bad words to me. So it is like such a harsh thing. The question was like, yes, Duryodhan and the whole clan was wrong, very wrong. But everyone who stood there, weren't they wrong too? There were two questions. Third question, yes, she prayed to Krishna and somehow by miracle her clothes just become like longer and longer and longer, and they could not take it all off from her body. Otherwise she would have been made naked in front of the court, in front of everyone. Krishna came as savior, as we are told. Okay. Now, the question arises. Yes, Draupadi said some mean words. The punishment or the treatment was given to her. Was it equal? No. Every sane person will say that was not equal retaliation. The treatment given to Draupadi was not equal. But you all have to understand this was just one incident. That one incident spiraled down everything that had happened in the past with the Duryodhan and the family, or the Kauravas or Dhritarashtra. It was that which started from what insecurities or jealousy or pain that Dhritarashtra was carrying. So it was the combination. So the combination of Dhritarashtra, combination of Gandhari being blindfolded, combination of Gahar who wanted their daughter to marry the king and not the blind person, combination of all that insecurities from years. the pain, the jealousy, all that they were carrying. It was like what Draupadi did was, it was the last nail on the coffin. Or you might say it was the icing on that cake, which was already, or icing. It was just a volcano which was ready to erupt. If it was not that, probably it would not have warranted such bad treatment or such bad reaction, right? So I will just, whatever I have spoken so far, what I will do, I will just translate in Hindi, because lots of people are Hindi. So I know like some of you do not understand Hindi, but let me just translate it again. So in a very short way, or just a summary of what I have spoken so far, is that Mahabharat was the culmination of जो लोगों ने धृतराष्ट्र के अंदर जो ईर्ष्या थी कि मेरे साथ गलत हुआ है, ये गद्दी मेरी थी, ये राज्य मेरा था, मैं राजा बनना चाहिए था, और पांडु को मिला। गलत या सही पता नहीं, लेकिन उस समय धृतराष्ट्र बड़े थे और मिला किसको गद्दी? पांडु को। पांडु को मिला, उसके बाद पांडु की डेथ हो गई, धृतराष्ट्र वापस राजा बने। लेकिन फिर भी हर समय यही बोला गया कि पांडु ही असली हकदार है। अगर उसी समय ये हो जाता कि दोनों ही हकदार हैं और दोनों को उनका हिस्सा दे देना चाहिए, जब वो छोटे ही थे, आपको ये झगड़ा बढ़ाना ही क्यों था? उनको झगड़ा बढ़ाना था, और क्या पता धृतराष्ट्र को लगता हो कि सारा मेरा ही, मैं एक भी क्यों दूं? ये धृतराष्ट्र की सोच होगी, जो उसने अपने बच्चों के अंदर बढ़ रहा था और उसको बढ़ने दिया। He allowed it to grow, that feeling that Pandus do not deserve anything. It is the only them. सिर्फ वही लोग हैं जिनको मिलना चाहिए, बाकी किसी को कुछ नहीं मिलना चाहिए। तो इतने सारे जो मिसगिविंग्स हुए है ना, इतनी सारी जो गलतियां हुई, वो गलतियों का कल्मिनेशन। तो अभी आज की तारीख में हमारे लिए क्या सीख है? हम लोग पहला अध्याय शुरू करें कि जब वो युद्ध भूमि में पहुंच गए हैं, when they are in the battlefield, उसके पहले ही, if we decide today that we will take care of our emotions, whenever we are feeling envious, jealous, whenever we are using the word which is like in a taunting way, आपका क्या है, आप तो ऐसे हो, what is up with you, you are such a big person, these kind of words should never. Always talk politely and straightforwardly, always. The truth, जो सच होता है ना, वो थोड़ा सा कड़वा होता है, लेकिन लॉन्ग टर्म में it is always beneficial. Always talk clean and straight. If you have something in your heart, if there's something brewing in your heart, you need to use the phenomenon of contemplation. We did talk about it when we were doing the Yoga Vasishtha, that we have 4 pillars. 4 pillars. What are those? What were those 4 pillars of self-awareness? Self-inquiry. Self-inquiry. Self-control. So first 2 are self-inquiry and self-control. So let's talk about self-inquiry and self-control, because we have only 10 minutes left. So rest of the 2 we will talk about it tomorrow. Before we reach to Mahabharata, because there will be various dilemmas that we will be talking about. But right now, we need to learn to be aware and understand our feelings. Understand what is going into our mind. The moment you catch yourself thinking negatively, what you need to do? You need to accept that yes, I am feeling it this way. I am feeling jealous, I am feeling hopeless, I am feeling this, I am feeling that. Whatever you're feeling, then you close your eyes. You center yourself. Go into your heart. Take deep breath. And I use a couple of methods, but one of the methods is 5 whys. Why I am feeling in certain way. Where I need to improve upon. Why? Why I am feeling this way? Okay, got the answer. Why this? Then again why? Again why? Again why? Keep asking yourself question till you figure it out that what is wrong in you that is making you feel in a certain way. So let's take an example before we proceed. So I have given this multiple times, but somehow but let's take this example. It's a very common example that I have explained in my other videos also, that even in my book I've mentioned that this woman was feeling very anxious. So the negative emotions, anxiety. Why? Because I'm feeling very anxious. Why I'm anxious? Because this woman had a child who used to get sick very often, like cold, cough kind of thing, nothing serious, cold, cough. So she's like, my child gets sick very often. So okay, fine, he's sick, give him the medicines and whatever is needed. No, I'm very anxious. Why are you anxious? My child is sick. Oh, he'll get better. I'm still anxious. Why are you anxious? And then I'm anxious because he's not going to school regularly. Okay. Why you are anxious if he's not able to go to school regularly? That he might not be able to get grades. Why he will not be able to get good grades? Why it is causing you anxiety? He's only in second grade. No. Then other kids will do better than him. So issue is not the child is sick. The issue is that the other kids will do better than him. Okay, what is the problem with that people do better than him? Why are you anxious about it? He will not do good and probably he will not go to good college. Okay. So what is the issue if he doesn't go to the good college or good school? Then he will not have a good salary. He will not have a good job. And then he will be dependent on us. He might not be able to get married to a good girl. He will not be able to get married to a good family. So a child in second grade, the mother is anxious, not because the child is sick, but she is subconsciously already reached to the point that he is not a successful person and she has to take care of him even if he's older. And now when that awareness came, that means she can rectify it. Who knows what is going to, this fear is definitely not going to be real. So now that she has already gone and it came into an awareness that she's not worried about the child being sick, but she's worried about that part, she could bring it back and release all that fear and just focus on making your child happier. Because you're always anxious that bimar na pad jaye, kahin school na ja paye, like constantly just thinking of like if my son will get sick, if my son will get sick, if my son will get sick. So this will be your meditation today. When we meet tomorrow, I would definitely ask you guys to keep your notebook handy, and whenever you feel anything which is taking you away from being peaceful, being happy, immediately jot it down. If you do not feel in harmony with the people around you or with yourself, any kind of emotion, so keep your diary and pen handy and immediately jot it down. And what was the time? The moment it comes into your head, somebody is pushing me, somebody is trying to not talk to me nicely, somebody is making faces, whatever you feel about your environment, you should immediately jot it down. And then, oh, that person made face at me. Why am I being bothered about it? That means that person does not like me. Why am I getting bothered about that if that person doesn't like me? Oh, why he would not like me? There's like so many questions that you can keep asking yourself. Why it is important that person to like you? Oh, that person is a very close friend of mine, and I do not want to lose that friend if he doesn't like me. What happens if he doesn't like you? What is the issue? Then you realize that you are seeking validation from the person for no reason actually. So these are like simple examples for you to, because we are entering into a very divine wisdom and knowledge. We need to be flowing with it, because what we are doing today is like we are changing our internal compass. If our compass is pointing into the right direction, we have to bring it to the, if is pointing to the wrong direction, we have to learn to bring it into the right direction, so that we do not have to, God forbid, we do not have to set ourselves into going into that dilemma. But most of us have already into that dilemma. Some of us are already feeling internal fights. How many of you had property related issues in your family? Some of you all had, right? How many people have bad relationship with their husband or spouses, wife or husband? How many people had issues with their clients or partners? How many people felt that their parents were not supportive enough? I am sure each one of you had found some conflict inside of your family. And this is the time that we start resolving that. And I'm 100% sure by the time we will finish the Gita, the leadership, and the spirituality, we are going to go get those wisdom, so that by the time we finish it in next 18 days, we will be able to be in peace and harmony with ourselves. And all the problems that we are facing right now, we will have the answers to it, so that we can resolve it 100%. With that, I will be done for today, and we'll be meeting again tomorrow. हमारा सबका होमवर्क यही है कि नेक्स्ट 24 आवर्स, क्योंकि हम लोग रोज ही कर रहे हैं ये, है ना, तो आई वुड लाइक ऑल ऑफ यू टू राइट डाउन व्हेन यू आर गोइंग इन अ डिफरेंट डायरेक्शन, है ना. तो वो 24 घंटे में, क्योंकि ये जो है बहुत ही इंटरैक्टिव है, प्रैक्टिकल सेशंस है, बोलने के टाइम में फिर ओपन कर लेना. तो अभी वो, क्योंकि ये जो जर्नी हम चल रहे हैं, है ना, हम में से यहाँ पे जितने लोग हैं, अगर यहाँ पे 8 लोग आ जाए, कल को अगर 50 भी होंगे, हर कोई को, और 5000 भी होंगे, तभी भी ये इशू होगा, है ना. इनमें से कोई ना कोई इशू सबके साथ चल रहा है, तो हम लोग साथ साथ में थोड़ा काम करते चलेंगे, ठीक है. एवरीबडी हैज टू राइट डाउन व्हाटएवर दे आर गोइंग थ्रू during the day. So notebook is important, and if this one of those situations, I'm 100% sure that everybody is facing, and we need to really see how our thoughts are about those situations. So you take care. Namah Shivaya. Dhan Guru Nanak. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनः भवन्तु. And I'm seeking blessings from Lord Krishna that he should stay with me throughout this journey and allow me to deliver whatever He intends me to deliver. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Okay. Thanks to all of you, and see you all tomorrow.